Hey guys, All in Crypto here, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. We're going to be sharing something very important in this video, guys. Stay tuned. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to be looking at something called Wyckoff accumulation. Now, everybody should know what this is by now. We're going to briefly skim over what it is and why Bitcoin is actually playing out to this schematic very, very closely. And could we indeed be at the final stage, the lowest point of this accumulation zone, this accumulation range, before we then start to climb out, we start to make that recovery that we've said on numerous occasions we believe is to come for not only Bitcoin but the overall crypto space, and continue in this bull run. We're going to be looking at that, guys. We're also going to be touching on a number of things. There's a lot going on right now in Bitcoin. Yesterday the news was all doom and gloom. Part of Wyckoff accumulation and distribution comes with a media participants. So it comes with flooding the market, and then FOMOing it, etc., etc. We're seeing all that take place, guys, and essentially Wyckoff came up with his method, and we've covered this on other videos, to combat the insiders, to combat what he called the composite man, which was made up of the people in the know that have been manipulating markets. This schematic came up with 100 years ago, and they're still doing the same thing today, guys. And he kind of came up with these schematics to help you guys combat. We had the Wyckoff distribution, which is just so apparent here. And now we could be in a Wyckoff accumulation range before we continue this bull run. And what this is all about, guys, is them taking your Bitcoin from you. There's a number of on-chain metrics as well. Whales are buying up Bitcoin like it's going out of fashion. Biden yesterday, there was lots of news. They created this narrative that, Bitcoin's bad. Biden's top administrator advisor is a Bitcoin millionaire. El Salvador have now officially legalized and made it legislation that Bitcoin is legal tender. Am I missing the point here, or are people missing the point? An entire country have now made Bitcoin legal tender. This is the stuff that dreams were made of, back in 2009. This is Satoshi's vision coming to reality, guys. We're also going to look at Amazon, probably one of the biggest companies in the world, looks to hire a blockchain starter with experience of DeFi. So what we're going to do to start this video off, guys, stay tuned. This is going to be a really interesting one. We've got lots to share with you. We're going to look at the accumulation schematic for the Wyckoff theories. So I believe that's taking place now, guys. I'm going to show you why. Now, these things do not look perfect. Obviously, every single Wyckoff structure is not going to look identical. However, the key points are there, I do believe. And I do believe we could right now, ladies and gentlemen, be on that spring test area right here, guys. So let me just make this bigger so you can see this area here. I believe you could be there essentially, and I'm going to show you why that is, guys. So if we look, you can see that you come down, you make a low point. What we're going to do, guys, I'll actually draw this on here so that we can kind of follow it as we go along. Let's make this a little bit bigger, take it off auto. So you can see what happens with Wyckoff distribution is you come down and you make your initial low, which I believe is this point right here, guys. I believe this initial low, that low is then followed with a bounce back before making another low, and then you kind of play around, and then you enter another low which is marginally lower than the first one. So you have that here, guys, and we're going to draw these lines here so that you can see exactly what's going on. Then you kind of loll about. We can see we had this and we called it out. This is the most textbook head and shoulders I think I've seen, guys. I mean, this head and shoulders here, everybody just knew was bad news. Then what essentially happens to make your final low, guys, is you have to essentially loll about. You don't come above your previous two, your previous kind of high, your previous bounce back that you initially had from that sell-off. You consolidate, you kind of bounce around before then selling off lower to your lowest point. Now, yes, people are saying that this structure here does not look identical to this kind of mountain range that we see here, but they don't have to be identical, guys. All you really need is the main kind of points here, and I think you've had this sell-off now. So you've had these three sell-offs, which you can see quite clearly here. Your first one, your second one's lower, and then your third one's lower, and that is indeed the case. We're not counting wicks here, guys. We never count wicks. It's not what we do. You can see that that's really the kind of trend of this. Your first low, your second low, and then your third low, and your third low is your kind of furthest low, essentially. I think this is happening today before we are now going to climb up. We're already seeing that relief rally take place. What comes over the coming days is going to be very, very telling, guys. Is now the time to be rushing in? Well, I'm not going to answer that question for you. I'm going to let you make your own mind up. What I am going to tell you is I bought the dip, but I buy every dip. The reason I buy every dip, guys, is because if you look at Bitcoin, and let's just finish what we're talking about here before I talk about why I'm a dip buyer. The last thing I want to do, guys, on this schematic is I want to draw these lines. You can see you have these two lines at the bottom here that will show you the kind of range that you're looking at for your third and final dip, your spring test. We're going to put them on very, very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, before we then move on to why I'm a dip buyer and why I continue to buy dips as frequent as they kind of come around, really. Let's put this back on auto. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that is very, if you look at these lines over here, you have the kind of majority of the body of this final low within it before you then kind of come out of it and you start to make your ascent, and we enter the bull run again. I think there's a lot of similarities here. I don't think it's perfect, but it doesn't need to be. The Wyckoff distribution that we saw was literally perfect. I mean, that's so evident, I think, for everybody to see. That was complete Wyckoff distribution. So if those same actors are here, I would suggest that they are about to accumulate before sending it higher. And if you look on-chain data right now, you can see serious whales are buying up a lot of Bitcoin. Now, I spoke to you or mentioned it previously that I buy every single dip. Why do I buy every single dip? Well, I already dollar cost average into crypto full stop. The reason I do that is because I'd rather have my money in cryptocurrency, even being as volatile as it is, than just sat in the bank doing nothing. So I always dollar cost average in regardless, but I always accumulate more on periods where the market is down. The reason that I do that, and it's the reason that perhaps you guys should maybe look at a strategy similar, is because if you look at the logarithmic scale for Bitcoin, which really gives you a good indication of the overall direction, it's just up. And any dip theoretically has been a buying opportunity. That's been true up until this point, and I believe it is going to continue to be true. In fact, it's been true full stop unless you bought these dips up here. I think this is just going to, in hindsight, the same way that any other dip, we go back to 2017, in that bull run, any dip was essentially just a buying opportunity. And I ultimately think you are still going to have a fantastic year for Bitcoin. There are lots of theories getting thrown around right now, like, the kind of prolonged Bitcoin 4-year cycle theory. Benjamin Cohen has spoke on that a number of times. I think he's really good at doing that, very, very good at looking. And the argument that he actually puts forward, the kind of laws of diminishing returns and the fact that, the cycles are taking longer to kind of top out, makes sense. But ultimately, guys, it's all just a theory, the same way that this is just a theory. It doesn't have to play out, but there are some really telling signs here, and I think you could be at your spring test. I could be wrong, we could be going lower, but the way that this is played out, and I just want to show you something else on a hourly time frame, guys. You essentially have an inverse head and shoulders setting up right now, which I'm really liking the look at of. Not only that, it's actually played out and been validated. Guys, is it time to get excited again? It's too early to tell for 100% certainty. Ultimately, we are still in a bull market. I do believe that genuinely. I also believe that, you can't keep Bitcoin down forever. They can try their hardest. One thing that makes me so relatively confident that, we do have a Wyckoff accumulation taking place right now is not only because we had Wyckoff distribution taking place, which would indicate that those actors, the composite man is here, but also because the news has been very coordinated. Every point here, the news has been coordinated, essentially. It's like they all come out, they all get the same message on their phone, and they all just come out in the news articles. Today, isn't it coincident how all the news is rather bullish? Biden's top antitrust advisor is a Bitcoin millionaire. There are roles getting given to people high up in the US government that are essentially being given to people who have blockchain experience. Apple is looking for blockchain experience. They've swept that under the rug now. Amazon is now coming out to do the same thing. Guys, this is the way the world is moving towards. I'm adamant of that. Whether we have Wyckoff accumulation taking place or not, this train is going to keep on moving, and if you can either be on that train or you can watch it leave and have to watch everybody else be on it. I suppose that really is the definition of FOMO. That's not what we're trying to encourage here, but what I am adamant of guys, is that Bitcoin has a bright future, and so does the overall cryptocurrency market. I'm sure of that, and you can see that we are recovering today, and I think we're going to continue to do so. And I bought not only Bitcoin but a number of other altcoins yesterday. I'm going to be releasing a video after this one where we talk about some of the altcoins. 3 altcoins will perhaps give you, although I purchased around about 12 different cryptos altogether, including Bitcoin yesterday. 3 altcoins that I believe you should buy this month for, you know, some pretty serious gains starting from next month till the end of the year. So that's all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. Watch out for that. The Bitcoin bottom could indeed be in, but we've already called that. I mean, if it is in here, we'd have been marginally wrong, but still wrong. You know, every time we're wrong and we make the wrong call, we hold our hands up and we say, you know, we were wrong. And we were indeed wrong on that call on the Bitcoin bottom. It could have bottomed here, but really it's anybody's guess. Nobody knows with absolute certainty. However, there are indicators that would suggest it has. You know, you've got bullish divergence happening right now. There are a lot of things going on right now that I like the look of. The big elephant in the room is that you are in a downtrending market. This is the trend of the market, ladies and gentlemen. Whatever you want to say, whatever I say on here, you know, you are trending downwards, guys, and you know the trend is really your friend until you see confirmation that we're no longer doing so. But I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. I've always have been. Even in days when we're massively in the red, even this big brutal sell-off here, I was still bullish on Bitcoin because I believe in blockchain technology and what it's trying to do for the world. So that is all I have for you in this video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you on that note. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I hope everybody's a little bit happier. Did you buy the dip? Let me know in the comment section, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next YouTube video. If you appreciated the content, a like is always welcome. So is a comment. Your feedback is crucial to the growth of this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen.